Word Balloon is brought to you by the League of Word Balloon Listeners.
For artists that want to follow a realistic style, I don't know that you necessarily have to overthink about an influence like me or any other painter who does realism. You can certainly get a lot from the pieces that we've done, maybe even imitate some of those compositions, but I think you'll find your own way once you're just studying reality, which is what I would do. I mean, if I'm going to look at people, things, photographs, it's beneficial to start shooting your own if you can get into that. And these days, since everybody's got a camera, that's not so much of an issue anymore. Being able to study life as the basis for something is the best. I had the longest problem of thinking I needed to have everybody and every element be perfect before I could use it as a reference source. And so it took me a long time to realize how flexible the basis of the human form is. I've posed for myself on loads of paintings where now I guess I'm called out by some people online. It's a process of getting your mind comfortable with what you're building off of. And at a certain point, I would say accept that you're going to feel like you're not seeing it until you've seen it. You know, that maybe you do need to have a thing look like a thing exactly before you're painting from it.
Welcome back, everybody. It's time again for another Word Balloon Live, the comic book conversation show. John Suntress here. I'm very happy to welcome Jason Loo to Word Balloon. Jason, it's a pleasure. Good afternoon. Good evening.
Nice to meet you, John. It's actually Jason Lowe.
Oh, Jason, I apologize, man.
That's all right.
All right, I took the two O's to be ooh, but Jason Lowe. I appreciate that.
That's the anglicized pronunciation, Lou, but yeah, it's Lowe.
Jason Lowe, no problem, man. Well, congratulations, man. I mean, you've been burning it up lately, especially with your collaborations with that deadbeat Chip Zdarsky. I'm sorry that you got a slum with him, but, you know, what are you going to do? It's nice of you to kind of give him a leg up. He certainly needs it.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, to be partnered up with like one of the best in the industry, I got stuck with Chip instead. So
what are you gonna do?
It's fine. It's fine.
Well, you succeed in spite of him. I didn't. Afterlift, didn't you guys win an award for this?
We did. Yeah, we won.
Well, the Eisner, didn't you?
We won the Eisner, right?
Wow.
Right there.
Yeah.
And we won a Canadian Eisner, which is the Joe Shuster Award.
Sure.
For the same book. So yeah.
You know, I've never seen a Shuster. Do you have your Shuster handy? I would love to see it if you do. And if you don't, it's okay.
No, I haven't yet, but it's what it is. It's a plaque, and it has Superman from Action Comics issue #1. Yeah.
Oh, does it have the throw in the car?
I think it's that. No, actually, no. I think it's one of the classic Superman covers where he's like going like that.
Oh, sure.
Looking down. Yeah. At
sure.
the city. Yeah.
I think that's from Superman #1. Yeah.
It, Superman #1.
Yeah. That's awesome, man. No, that's terrific. I might be. I don't know if they check, but I might be at my full quota for Canadian creators on. I have to confess, I had teasing Andy Belanger on a couple weeks ago. I had Dave Thomas. He's got a new science fiction crime book that he did. Zdarsky, and now you. So
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm allowed to have more Canadians on for the rest of the month. I might have to wait to December. I don't know.
We're like the SCTV of cartoonists.
Yeah, man. Pre-COVID, were you and Jason? Pardon me. Were you and Chip sharing a studio?
No, not at all. Actually,
No?
we're both from Toronto, but during the pandemic, he retreated to BC where it was much safer, like out in the woods with. I think he was staying with his partner's parents, and so he was there, and I had to be in Toronto where the cases were much more higher, and it was just much more scarier while working. Just really screwed my headspace. Really.
Yeah, I was going to ask Jason, honestly, how did you handle things, especially the thick of things, last year when we had no idea how long this was going to last? It was kind of scary. I know a lot of people, it messed them up creatively and stuff. How did it impact you?
Well, we actually started working on the Allnighter. I was working on issue number 1 to 5 through the pandemic since February.
Okay.
And I had a new iPad, so it was my first time working digitally as well. So I was just pretty much like occupying my mind, just learning how to work digitally, trying to translate my traditional style into Procreate. But at the same time, like my hand would be just a little bit scratchier because, when you look at those case numbers and you're like, you feel hopeless. You're like, you don't know what to do. And then eventually I just reconnected with friends. We would have like our regular virtual chats because normally pre-pandemic, we would have our drink draws, which we've actually like returned to that now. But
that's great.
Yeah. So Paris Aline, he's one of my drink draw buddies. So like every week, every Wednesday, we would just get together and we would just check up on each other while we're drawing, which is nice. I know one of someone in our group had COVID, and he shared his experiences, and I was like, oh, I got to be careful. I don't want to lose that sense of taste because I love you.
No, a good friend of mine lost her sense of smell. That was her big symptom and everything, and she got it back eventually. But isn't that scary to think? I mean, just something as subtle as that, and it's like, oh God, that's really like unnerving and really fearful to think of someone going through that, let alone actually doing it themselves too. Who else is in your drink and draw?
Jamal Campbell. He's been in our drink draw. He's known for Far Sector. He's been busy doing that. Who else? Janoy Lindsay. He's actually doing covers for Hawkeye right now.
Oh wow.
Yeah, and I think he's got some other Marvel stuff. I'm not going to say. That's a funny thing. It's like we don't know like what's been announced yet, but like we know what
everybody's working on.
Yeah.
Sure. No, I understand, man. Well, we'll stick to the stuff that's out there.
Yeah.
For you. And we mentioned the Allnighter. That is certainly the current project that's going on through Comixology Originals. Afterlift also came through there. I have to remind everyone, if they're not aware of it, that if you've got Amazon Prime, you have access to a lot of these books. And certainly in the case of, Allnighter and Afterlift, these are free books. And that's fantastic. I think that's wonderful. And I love that Chip Mosier and everybody over at Comixology, seems like Chip's kind of the linchpin that grabs creators and stuff. He's got a great eye for what you guys are presenting, and I'm glad that they're doing it. So I know the premise, but give everyone the 10-cent pitch on the Allnighter.
So the Allnighter follows this, I'd say like a broken family of vampires. 4 vampires who've become vampires from different generations, and they are hiding. They're hiding from these beings called the Takers, and the takers are the ones that keep the monsters in our world in check. So a lot of the monsters in our world are in hiding and just trying to lay low, and the family of vampires, the Allnighter crew that we're following, they run an all-night diner, and just trying to get by the working grind of a late night shift. But then one of them is kind of bored by it, and he decides, through his fandom of superheroes, because in this world there are no superheroes. They only exist in TV and movies. He kind of found a loophole where he can disguise himself as a vigilante and use his vampire abilities to fight bad guys. and same with his sidekick, who's part of the family, Joy. And yeah, it's a great way for them to fight bad guys, but also suck some blood, because they're vampires. While at the same time trying not to get caught, but their escapades have inspired other monsters to do the same.
It's a great idea, man.
Yeah.
So, did Chip present this to you? Did you guys come up with this together? Again, your first collaboration. Am I right? Your first collaboration was Afterlift?
Yeah, the first collaboration was Afterlift. And then right when we wrapped up Afterlift, we got together, just me and Chip, just to celebrate, but also to talk about our next project, because we know we wanted to continue working on comics together. I guess Chip's just very impressed with just my turnaround of getting pages done. So yeah, we got together, and I had like 5 pitches already, like on a notepad. And what's great about our collaboration is he will ask me, the artist, what do you feel like drawing?
Sure.
But he also knows I'm a storyteller as well. So he's like, what kind of story do you want to tell? And so one of the stories I wanted to tell was, a crew of vampires that run an all-night diner. That was one of the 5 ideas I gave him. And but I also said, with the success of Afterlift, the fact that we didn't have to use superheroes at all, I want to just tell a very universal story without the whole superhero genre, just like Afterlift.
Sure.
But so it's mainly just these vampires that are just trying to survive, trying to be good vampires, and how they're adjusting, but at the same time they're using their diner as a refuge for other vampires. And so he took that idea, then maybe 2 weeks later he developed a good pitch of a 5-issue outline. And then he was like, well, here it is, but Jason, sorry, there's gonna be superheroes involved. It's like, darn it. And I was like I came off of doing before Afterlift, I did Pitiful Human Lizard, which was an offbeat, unconventional superhero story series. And I didn't feel like my style in terms of storytelling and art would be good for just a good superhero story. I just want to be a bit more of an oddball when telling a superhero story. So Pitiful Human Lizard, I thought I kind of exhausted that interest of superheroes. But the more I read his outline and then his script, the more he got me back into loving superheroes again. And as a creator, not as a fan, because I'm a big fan of superheroes. But as a creator, I was like, he really motivated me to go along with having superheroes involved with the Allnighter, and I think it just made it a much more interesting series, actually.
See, this is great because honestly, this reminds me of when I was first made aware of Chip Zdarsky through Matt Fraction, and when they were doing Sex Criminals, because I hadn't heard of Chip. And Matt's like, oh God, he, so many great comics that he's done on his own as well. And here you are with Pitiful Human Lizard, and his mother, of course, on the cover. And I know I love this, and it's great to discover your stuff too. So I want to get to this in a second, but I also want to answer a question that BM has. I know the answer. I'll let you answer it though. Mm-hmm. He seems to think that Allnighter is fascinating. Is it only digital or is it also physical? I buy both. Don't worry, I'm not judging.
It's going to start digitally through Comixology Originals every month. So we have like the first 2 issues, and issue number 3 should be coming out sometime this month.
Great.
And then we're going to collect the first 5 issues into volume 1, and that will be published through Dark Horse Comics, just like Afterlift, and that will be out in February. So I hope everyone pre-orders their copy.
I understand, man. No, and again, this is why I really love what Amazon is doing with the Comixology Originals, and the fact that if you're a Prime member, you get to read them, you get to read whatever you want. And then those of us that want to wait and get, a nice little trade or something to put on the shelf, then a few months later, it is available in a hard version from Dark Horse. So that's great to hear.
It looks amazing. Like it has like spot gloss. Like I've seen like all the pages, especially like the designer of the book like did a phenomenal job. Like it's like it has a lot of good bonus material as well, such as like some of the concept drawings of the characters and also like just the breakdowns of my page process. But it's very well put together. It's well worth having it on your shelf. So yeah,
beautiful, man. All right, let's go back now to Pitiful Human Lizard. How many issues of this did you do, and are there collections available of these stories?
Yeah, there are collections out there. So this was something that I started through Kickstarter. I kickstarted the first issue.
Wow.
And then self-published the first 5 issues. And then I had a publisher that's no longer around anymore. But altogether, I've published about 22. I mean, there was about 22 issues of Pitiful Human Lizard that I wrote and drew, and I like most of the time I had a color assistant, but I did the colors as well, and lettering, everything, the janitorial duties and mail clerk, all my blood, sweat, and tears went into that series.
That's cool. All right, you see, I think we've converted BM. I think he's gonna grab the trade for Dark Horse, but check it out. And he says he'll definitely help spread the news. That's great, BM. Thank you.
Thank you.
That's wonderful, man. So that's cool. And listen, I know you've also done other stuff as well. First of all, I want to make sure I get the right cover. Where the hell is it? Is it here? Yes.
Yes.
All right. So yeah, this summer you were part of Marvel Voices, right?
Yeah.
Which is cool. Celebration of Marvel's Asian characters.
Uh-huh.
Who did you get? Did you write and draw, or just draw?
I just drew our short. It was written by Christina Strain, who she's done a lot of Generation X, and which is perfect because our character that we worked on is Jubilee, who's like one of my favorite X-Men characters.
Sure.
And we actually got to explore for maybe like the first time, more in depth on her family life, her parents.
Oh, so, wow.
Yeah.
Is she? Forgive me, man, because I don't keep track of the X-Men like I should, and I'm sure this is like long since gone. She's not a vampire anymore, is she?
No.
She used to be, though, right?
She used to be. Yeah, she used to be. It's funny because there's so much happening with the X titles that it's hard to keep track with who's alive and dead these days, really.
Honestly, I John Hickman is a good friend, and it's like, all right, let me really sit down and read this stuff, and then I'll get John on. And Christ, he's even on his Substack thing, so I think that's pretty cool too. Has anyone tapped you, Jason? Because also Chip told me you're an incredibly fast artist, which I think is amazing. And again, seeing your pages and seeing your covers, the quality is certainly there, so that's great to see. Because sometimes fast may not mean good, but I think thankfully in your case it absolutely is. I would imagine your speed's gotten faster since moving to digital once you got used to.
Oh yeah,
digital.
Definitely. And the thing is, it's also on top of a full-time job too. Like, wow, that's not related to comics at all. So I find myself I have to just designate time outside of my 9 to 5 or my 1 to 9 schedule.
Understood.
Doing comics, which is a challenge of itself too. But yeah, that Pitiful Human Lizard, that was the same thing. I went through that, but yeah, I just found ways to just get better at it, get more smarter and faster. I mean, when I was doing Pitiful Human Lizard, I was able to do 4 pages a day at times, but now it's okay, I got to put more quality into this now, especially when there's more eyes looking at Chip's work. I want to complement my art with his writing. So yeah, now it's 1 to 2 pages a day.
That's amazing.
Which it's average, I think.
Well, it's still pretty good,
on top of a 9 to 5. Yeah.
Yeah, man. Do you mind? I'm curious. What is your 9 to 5? I used to work in a bank when I was still trying to break into radio. So on the weekends, I was doing radio, and I was still working at a bank 9 to 5, Monday through Friday.
I work at a public library, so I do.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, I do a variety of stuff. I mean, it's limited with the pandemic, but I mean, I've been doing reference work, just being at the desk helping people find books, but also doing programming, children's story time programs and school outreach programs, and what else? Oh yeah, I've even run the annual comic event, MCX, which is the Mississauga Comic Expo, and that's where I use some of my network to get guests for our show. This past year, we got Ryan North and who else? Ho Chi Henderson.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
Very, very cool. That's honestly, man, I really was worried, and I still am worried about what's going on with libraries. And I love the way they have transitioned to be event destinations as much as taking books out and things, and being media centers and all the other services that a library can offer, because they are, I mean, truly, no lie, I'm a massive library fan. Anytime libraries want my help, I'm there, and I'm happy to help out. I've done a few online events during the pandemic for libraries, and I've done some in-person things prior to that. And I just think they're so valuable, and truly good parents know the value of a library and send their kids there, because it really can open up their creativity and open their minds. And again, it's not just books. And I was fortunate enough to have a great library system when I was growing up. And like I said, I see the value, and I don't want them to go away. I'm very, very concerned that current parents might be like, well, we have the internet. Why do we need a library? And it's you don't know what you're talking about. Look at what's happening at a library and get your kids' asses over there.
And also, yeah, we got online resources as well that we can hook you up with. So
Hoopla's the best kept secret. If people don't know, and they've got a library card, connect to Hoopla, and you will be blown away. You get free comics there. You get free movies there. It's a wonderful, wonderful thing. Yeah. So
I forgot what movie I saw recently, and it was only available on Hoopla. It was not available. I have Amazon, Crave, Disney Plus, Netflix, all sorts of streaming websites. But yeah, it didn't have that one movie, but Hoopla did.
Totally, man. No, I'm with you. And again, now I'm in Chicago, and our Chicago Public Library their DVD collection is, again, finding movies that are not streaming, are not digitized, out of print, documentaries and feature films and television. It's yeah, again, everybody, if you're not already doing it, and I love talking to comic creators that and other podcasters that work in a library system. I know a guy that works in the New York Public Library system, and he's kind of a voice in terms of what trades he feels the library system should get. And it's like, that's a valuable job, man. I mean, that's terrific. And also, librarians have been comic creators' friends when some in the community may frown upon what they do and say, well, I don't know, that's kind of salacious. I don't know if that belongs in our community. And it's usually the librarians that step up and say, shut up.
Yeah.
This stuff is great. We're standing behind this person, as should the rest of the community. And really, man, I remember Frank Miller talking about the librarians, and it's like, don't fuck with the librarians, because they are happy to get in the dirt with you and tell you why these books are valuable and deserve to be part of the community. And I love that. And that's the thing, because everyone's like, oh, it's the librarian. And it's like,
yeah,
don't fuck with the librarians. They're That's great, man. Excellent. Well, I don't want to make you out like you're a gang member or anything.
No. You touch on something, and which reminded me, like several years ago, I used to run an anime club, a otaku club, actually, for teens. And one of the cool things we got to do was we got the previews catalogs, and that's where I was like, all right, guys, like just go nuts and highlight the titles that we should have in a library. And yeah, like, so they would bookmark like some of the hottest titles that we should have, and which really expanded our manga collection in our library. And yeah, it's to see, like, for those club members to see what they've contributed to, like, the legacy of our library, that we have like this very extensive amount of graphic novels, it's because of them.
That's great. That's excellent. Am I right? Did Fan Expo up in Toronto, did it happen in the last month or two?
It did. Yeah, I was there.
How did it go this year?
It went pretty well. Like, it was the limited edition, so it was a limited capacity. Everyone was wearing masks, which was great. And yeah, it was just great to reconnect with my con friends, and just fans that I only see like on the other side of the table. Yeah, it was really nice to be back. I was really itching to be back. And
sure,
what was great is, like, yeah, Fan Expo Canada, like on a regular weekend, it's so congested, so super crowded, especially when like everyone's just sweaty and it's just ugly just to walk through that mob of people. But there were crowds, but I was able to maneuver without even making any physical contact with anyone. Like, yeah, it was nice to be back. It was really nice.
Great, man. That's excellent. I was at Baltimore about a month ago, and I felt the same way. And again, it wasn't at the usual capacity, but it was great seeing everybody, and it was nice to, start to feel normal again. I was just talking to Sal Abenati, another creator, and he was telling me about what he wants to do for San Diego coming up in July. He's not going to the Thanksgiving show that they're going to have. At Fan Expo, did you have any panels, or did you just have a table in Artist Alley and stuff?
I just wanted to just chill at my table until like very last minute they recruited me to be part of the sketch duel with Ramon Perez, which, yeah, like I was so hesitant to do. I was like, I don't know, man, like I don't want to go up against Ramon Perez, and it was the very last sketch duel, like of like that like by the end it was the end of the event. And I was like, I was asking Pierce, like, do you want to do it? No. And like I was asking it like anyone else, and they were like, who are you up against? Ramon Perez. And like, no, hell no. I did it. Actually, no. Like, yeah, the head coordinator was like, no, they wanted you specifically, and I was like, all right, well, I'll do it for Kevin Boyd of Fan Expo. Yeah, I'll do it for you. And it was fun. It turned out, yeah, we had a lot of fun.
Oh, he's a sweetheart. I love Ramon. I've known
Yeah.
Ramon for a lot of years. He's a great guy. Here, Andrew Clark has a question. Do you collect other comic art, or do you do trades with other artists?
Oh yeah, like well, when it comes to comic art, I mean, I only have a few, and I still need to put them up. Like I have some pages from X Factor that Leonard Kirk drew because
Sure.
I'm a big fan of his.
Oh yeah.
And like I find him, like he doesn't know it, but like he's like my mentor. Like I'm studying his stuff. I even like bought like an issue of his page breakdowns just to see like how he roughs out each issue. And we were working for the same publisher one time where like he was working on the Captain Canuck book while I was working on Purple Human Lizard, and we were where it was like in the same universe. So like it was nice to like just trade notes, but we would be at conventions beside each other, and I'd just be like looking over his shoulders and just seeing how he like breaks down these very elaborate sci-fi backgrounds with just simple line work. So yeah, I have a lot of his work. What else? I do have some of like Chip's like original artwork as well that like I bought from him like pre Sex Criminals, because yeah, like I used to intern with him, but that's another story. I'm just looking at the question again to see if I missed any.
The second part was what comic artists inspired you as a kid.
As a kid, now the funny thing is, like I didn't know any of the artists' names when I was a kid. But I mean, like it was like I loved Batman, I loved X-Men, and then like I think Jim Lee was one of the first names that stood out to me, and Todd McFarlane. But
sure,
I guess like right now, like David Mazzucchelli, and
great artist, brilliant.
Yeah, I always like Batman Year One is a textbook for me that I'm studying. What else? I'm just looking at my
yourself
now. Who else have I been studying? I mean, Chris Samney is great. Like, and Alex Toth, Jack Kirby, Steve Ditko. Yeah.
Sure. No, those are great. Samney's an old buddy of mine as well. I actually have a couple pieces that he did back in the day. I've got a great, you see, Canadians and British fans know Dan Dare, the kind of the British Flash Gordon, if you will.
Oh, okay.
And I've got a beautiful Dan Dare that he did for me. And then of all things, because he used to be part of this group that would do their warm-up sketches before they started their stuff, and they would post their art on Twitter. And he did Super Chief, the old Silver Age DC Western hero that used to wear a big bison head for a mask.
Okay.
And so I've got Super Chief on a mount, and I got my Dan Dare. Those are my two Chris Samney pieces. And then he honored me. Brian Bendis put me in Ultimate Spider-Man as Peter Parker's high school principal.
Amazing.
I know, crazy. And I had people as varied as Stuart Immonen and Sarah Pichelli draw me as the principal. And my final appearance was with Miles Morales, where he accidentally slips into my apartment, and I'm in my bathrobe watching and of course, thanks, Chip, or rather Chris, I'm watching like a Girls Gone Wild video on my big screen. Okay, thanks. And Miles Morales comes in, and I see him, and I faint, and that's my last scene in the Ultimate Universe. So Samney has drawn me as well. So that's quite an honor that I've been drawn by these people. So too funny. Hollowfield wants you to know that he just finished issue 2 of the Allnighter, and he loves it. Great work. Well done.
Oh, amazing. Thank you.
Very cool. That's awesome.
It's just going to get better, actually, because the issue number 2 ends with the cliffhanger. And yeah, it's just going to be unleashed from here. It's like there's going to be lots of great surprises in every issue.
That's cool. I noticed too. You did a couple Star Wars adventures.
Yes, not
so,
that cover, but the variant cover I did.
So this is in your cover.
No, I did. What's his name? Porter. He's this old, very bulky Jedi, and he's guarding this bank behind him. Yeah, but yeah, that's a variant cover. The retailer's incentive. So
okay,
your comic shop pre-ordered that.
I don't have your interiors. I don't know if you. I'm assuming you didn't do this either. This cover.
No,
you're in this issue as well.
Yeah, I did. I did a variant for that one as well. And me and Chip co-wrote a Lando story.
Oh, great!
Yeah, and I drew it, and the story is it's Lando's like year one in Cloud City. Like he's just trying to he's just trying to get business started with Cloud City. That's all I'm going to say. It's a very fun story.
And this issue is still coming out. This is coming out in December.
Yes.
And is this issue out?
That will be coming out in a couple weeks, actually.
Oh, that all right at the end of the month. Yes.
Yeah. The 24th.
Cool.
Probably the same time as Allnighter issue number 3. Yeah.
Beautiful. Outstanding, man. That's excellent. Very, very cool. So, yeah, I don't know what else you've got. I mean, obviously, it sounds like Allnighter is done. You're just releasing it. Am I correct?
Well, right now I'm working on season 2. So, yeah, I'm on issue number 7 right now. That's all I'm going to say. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Do we have other things that are coming out from you before or during the rest of the Allnighter Volume 1? Or, what else is coming up that you could promote?
Yeah, so I did a bunch of other covers for Star Wars Adventures, like the High Republic stuff, like the Star Wars High Republic Galactic Bake Off Spectacular, which was a lot of fun because I got to design Star Wars pastries. Like I asked the editor, like, are there any references of any established pastries? And she was like, no. So you can go nuts. And like, fantastic, because during a pandemic, I've been binging with my girlfriend the Great Canadian Baking Show. So I've been inspired by all their creations and try to fit that in the Star Wars universe.
That's outstanding. That's funny. So are there going to be real recipes in the book?
I don't know. But like one of some of the references that I threw in there were I put in like the Jogan fruits and the main Loo run, which were references from Star Wars Rebels. The blue macaroon that Grogu was snacking on, but with a little bit of a special fruit on top. Yeah, a lot of Easter eggs in that.
That's awesome. Yeah, there's a lot of blue food in the Star Wars universe, which always is like, all right.
Yeah.
It looks alien, so I suppose that's cool.
Also, I did something for Marvel. Like, it was very last minute, and it should come out sometime this month. That's all I'm gonna say.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's a surprise because
fair enough.
Yeah.
All right, we'll keep our eyes peeled for Jason Moore work. Absolutely. So that's cool. I got to ask you, I don't know if the Great Canadian Baking Show is streamed anywhere. What I have seen, and I love it, and you'll forgive me because you're in Toronto, major metropolitan city in North America. I have yet to be there, but I'm dying to go. I'm a massive baseball fan. I would love to go see where the Blue Jays play, and stay at that hotel where you can, where that overlooks the field and everything. I think that's amazing. And I would love to do Fan Expo. I saw my buddy, I don't know if you know Constance, who works with Fan Expo. She's lovely. She's a tremendous woman. And she was at Baltimore. And I know she was at Fan Expo is taking over the Wizard shows, and they're going to be called Fan Expo shows now. Chicago. She was at the Chicago show as well. But I haven't, like I said, I haven't seen the Canadian baking show. What I have seen is Chopped Canada, though. And I love seeing that because every now and then they will put some kind of game meat in the Canadian show. So it's like, all right, and your ingredients are apricots, sun-dried tomatoes, and moose tongue. And then you'll have like a great Canadian chef. You're like, oh, you know, the great thing about moose tongue is X, Y, and Z. And it's like, that's fantastic. You know, elk's ears. Oh, okay.
Can't say I've ever tried that before. Yeah, that's wow.
I don't think these are real ingredients. I'm sure I'm making it up, but they are definitely portions of game meat that I've never seen before, and are not certainly not indigenous to a Chicago menu. But don't get me wrong, man. Hey, you know, they wrote The Jungle up in Sinclair about the meatpacking places from the turn of the 20th century. And we have exotic meat as well, but it's the kind of exotic meat like rats and things like that accidentally fall in the bin. So,
oh, geez.
You know, yeah, exactly. I would rather have the exotic game meat of Canada than some of the gross stuff that winds up in hot dogs. And things.
Yeah, we got this pretty good place called Verst, and like they have about over 30 selections of different types of meats, and yeah, like a third of it is game meat. So like you can try like a rabbit verst or a kangaroo verst. Yeah, it's one of my favorite places actually. There's actually one that's in Union Station. Like, so you can find your like way from Fan Expo if you're ever in town and just head over to Verst.
That's awesome. We had a place called Grizzly. I don't think it's still in Chicago, but I've had my share of game meat there, and like, you know, things like ostrich and bison and a few things like that. No, and elk. I've had an elk steak.
Same.
So yeah, no. And like I said, man, I do know. Like I said, I have watched Chopped Canada. They've shown that on the Food Network here, but I haven't seen the baking show. I'd love to see it. I am so addicted to the British one, and I adore that show. And I really, a lot of times to fall asleep, I'll put that on Netflix, and it's just such a nice sedate show, and everybody's calm, and it's just a nice sedate music. It really does help. It's a nice lax or whatever, not a laxative.
And they're very supportive of one another too.
Yes.
Like they're not like cutthroat where like, you know, like if someone's like screwing up with a certain ingredient and like, you know, like all the contestants are like, oh, well, it's your loss. No, like everyone's there to help each other out, which is so wholesome.
I agree. No, I absolutely.
I don't know.
Yeah. No, or when they cut someone, they all come and hug them and stuff. And
yeah.
Oh, no, they're all very supportive. And yeah, oh, I'm so sorry Terry's going. She's lovely, blah, blah, blah. And it's, yeah, no, I agree with you, man. It's great. So are you friends? Do you know Lemire? You see, now I feel like ugly American. It's like, oh, you're Canadian. Well, do you know all these other Canadians?
Yeah, we've, I mean, we're not friends, but like we've you know, we've come across each other.
Sure.
I remember back when like my early years, like attending Fan Expo, and like, yeah, he was at like Artist Alley, and like he was fresh off of his Xerox. Is it the Xerox Award?
The Xerox Award.
The Xerox Award. That's it. Yeah, and then like just to see like, you know, like to gradually as I passed by his table, like, you know, then he's like sitting right at the DC booth. Yeah, I did a variant cover for a Black Hammer Visions.
Oh, wonderful.
So there was like a bit of that involvement, but that's as close as we've gone.
I understand. No, I'm a longtime fan and friend of Jeff's. He was very early on Word Balloon, and you know, when he's got time, he comes back. He's obviously he's becoming a media mogul.
Yeah.
You know, Sweet Tooth doing as well as it did, and some of these other projects he's involved with. I'm very, very happy for him, and he's a sweetheart of a guy. And
he's killing it.
He is killing it, absolutely. And it's just another great, genuine person. Absolutely, man. Well, geez, Jason, honestly, it's a pleasure to meet you, and I want you to come back, and we can talk more about some of the other things that you've been working on and stuff, and we'll see what this Marvel announcement is coming up imminently. So it'll be fun to see what that is.
I don't think it'll be an announcement, but it'll be more like Here it is.
Okay.
Yeah.
And in the meantime, again, everyone catch up on the Allnighter. This is issue 1. Issue 2 just came out, and we've got issue 3 coming out at the end of the month. That'll be great. And this Star Wars book, right, is the one that comes out at the end of November.
I do a short in that. Yep. With
and then this one in December.
Yes.
Beautiful. And reach back and check out some issues of The Pitiful Human Lizard as well.
Hopefully you can find it in your back issues or in the dollar bin in your local comic book shop.
Here's hoping. Absolutely. Yeah. Truly, man, no, it's a pleasure to meet you, and continued success. I'm so glad that you were recognized for another book that people could pick up now, both hard copy and digital, Afterlift from Dark Horse and Comixology Originals. And this is great. Here, I'm going to see if there we go. And the says, sorry, man, I'm having trouble both burping and also putting up graphics. There we go. Going to check it out for sure. Thank you, guys.
Hey.
Absolutely. No, Jason Lowe, everybody. Thank you very much. And I'll be back in a few hours. I'm nuts, Jason. I feel like Lou Gehrig or somebody that you can't stop me. I got 3 shows today. Coming up at 11:30 Central, 9:30 Pacific, 12:30 Eastern Time. It's an episode of Kinescope, where me, Jeff Parker, and Gabriel Hartman look at the era of live television from the 1940s and 1950s. And we're going to be talking about a very interesting show called Stud's Place, which is a combination of Cheers and Curb Your Enthusiasm. It was from 1950, and it was completely improvised. And it much like the Allnighter, but no vampires. It takes place in a diner. And it's a great slice of life show that very much is of that 50s jazz age. The vibe of it, the fact that it was an improvisational show. They only had a page and a half of a plot, and the actors came up with their own dialogue. Really, really interesting experimental TV from the early days of television.
Very
so
nice.
So if you feel like staying up and watching something else on the channel, you can check out Kinescope. But until then, everybody,